I'm sitting here thinking the attackers are not like going to give you a break. They're going to look for any way in. So shouldn't I train them to be prepared to look at it in these ways, right? And I had a good point, but he also wanted me to dial it down a little bit so people can feel better about themselves.
Wasn't punitive.
Right, you know? And now just thinking through it, I mean, it's fooling security professionals. I do this all day long. I've done it for, 12 years at this point, and I do it all day long, and it would still fool me every single time when I see that email or that video, right, come across. Like, you need another AI to literally combat it.
Absolutely. And it's, the SMS, it's Telegram, it's Signal, it's, email as well. But, I think 10 years ago, security taught people not to click links. And that was the right lesson for 2015. Today's attacks don't need a malicious link. They need your help desk to reset a password for someone who sounds exactly like your CTO.
Yeah.
They need your finance team to feel that sense of urgency, on a wire transfer because the request came from what looks like an internal Slack channel. It's an exploitation of the human psychology. It's no longer technical. And I think
What was it, Caesars or MGM that had that massive hack that, someone just calling up the help desk, and the help desk guy did everything that he was supposed to do, and they still got in.
by virtue of their name, the help desk, they want to help. And social engineering is exploitation of that human desire to help. It's also playing on emotions and looking for credibility and coming with a solid pretext about who you are and what your mission is, and then time boxing all that to get the targets to make a very urgent decision. And with context to the training that we're putting out there today and measuring that training and the completion rates, how do people actually behave under real attack pressure? And that's, another area that we play in is human risk management. And that's the practice of identifying and measuring and reducing that cyber risk created by that human behavior and building that resilience so that, what it looks like, what a multi-channel social engineering attack looks like. And your employees, your contractors, your third-party BPOs, those are a critical attack surface. And now you can monitor and improve it because if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And so we see that, there's a demonstrable reduction in risk by about 23% just by running realistic simulations across the same channels that the attackers are using. How do your people actually respond? Can you close those gaps that you find? And right now, most organizations are flying blind on that human layer, but still very focused on hardening everything from the perimeter in. And so one of my friends says, there's a difference between knowing the words to a song and being able to sing it when the lights come on and the room goes quiet. And I think that most security training teaches people the words, but with human risk management, that's where you really find out whether they can actually sing.
That's a really good way of putting it. I never thought about it like